Well, they blew up all the chickens in Bonanza last night. Now they burned down the jobs board too. Down at the showdown, they're getting ready for a fight. Gonna see what them merchant boys can do. Now there's trouble busting in from CBS, and Jonathan Cars can't get no relief. Gonna be a rumble by the microwave, and the town council's hanging on by the skin of their teeth. Well, now everyone cries, baby, that's a fact. But everyone that cries chugs their root beer back. Put your gold star on, get your bandana pretty, and meet me at Kid Nation in Bonanza City.
Welcome back to Kid Nation, comrade.
Nation of the Kid Nation. Viva La Revolucion!
Viva La Revolucion!
Communism rocks because we get inhalers for 10 cents and we know how to read. Yay!
Yay! What's your favorite political revolution?
Don't make me look stupid on this
thing. Say the American Revolution.
I don't know. That actually sounds kind of boring, honestly. Favorite revolution? I mean, I like the whole French Revolution, the let them eat cake, guillotine moment.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's pretty like aesthetically fun. And also like those people were dirt poor when that was going down. And like Marie Antoinette was truly lavishly living. I know I'm like really not breaking news here, but
finally someone took down Marie Antoinette.
What other revolutions were there?
Well, you got the Cuban Revolution of the late 50s.
Okay, that one came to mind. I was like, I'm seeing Cuba.
But even before that, there was a couple Cuban revolutions. There was an interesting slave rebellion in Cuba in the like late 19th century that was like actually slave owners and the slaves themselves kind of revolting against Spain. I don't know. I'm going to get into that on my podcast, Cuba Nation.
See, I like the disco revolution. Well, you know what? Disco just ruled the land.
Disco sucks.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Stop it.
I know disco is not dead. The disco demolition was bad.
I go back and forth if it was truly bad. I get the viewpoints of it being like, you know, you're burning and destroying the records of artists that are predominantly of color and queer and all of that. So that's kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, but
I also think those people are too dumb to even correlate that.
Yeah, that take is a little too hot for me because I don't think like the White Sox fans in the late 70s were aware of like the black queer influence of house music and the creation of it. I think they just hated like Donna Summers blasting on the radio.
It wasn't the White Sox fans. It was just straight up the people that listened to, I think it was Steve Dahl. And I'm pretty sure he had like a radio show on like either the Loop or one of the like rock channels. And he was like, yo, at Comiskey this night, all us rockers are going to get together and blow up.
Hey, fool, are you a rocker?
I mean, honestly, if there was like an EDM demolition, I probably would go. Like... Just for fun.
I'm freaking tired of Skrillex and Martin Garrix.
I mean, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I think we need to allow more love in rather than this was just like when it was fun to. This is when you could shit on people and it wasn't like cyberbullying.
Yeah, this was back when musical genres actually made like a difference in dividing music, and so people were, you know, they viewed it culturally as like a badge. Like I'm a rocker.
I just saw that
disco.
That beautiful clip of Amy Sedaris from Broad City where she's in the neck brace and she's like, I was cyberbullied within an inch of my life. And I think about that a lot because they didn't have that then. They're just like, the thing you like, I don't find precious and I will destroy it. But I guess we've become more evolved-ish now. But not as evolved as these kids because there's some growth in this episode.
Yeah, the reason why we had all that exciting revolution talk up at the top is because this is episode 5 entitled Viva La Revolucion.
Spelled like in Spanish. Also exclamated, but not exclamated the opposite way.
Yes. The funny thing about this episode is that even though it's called Viva La Revolucion, there is no like revolution. Instead, it's just like it's you know, Kid Nation is taking after the United States, so it's like a constitutional republic.
Well, I guess they did kind of start in somewhat of an oligarchy. Like, it was just kind of like destined. Like, they were just like, you have these leaders. Like, they didn't vote on the leaders at all. They were just plopped in.
No, but it is very much a representative democracy, because all the kids vote, after following the showdowns on what they want, and like the leaders will kind of like make the choice. Like
But what I'm saying is like the leaders initially were just imposed.
Yes.
They weren't like, they never voted on who the leaders would be.
Yeah, that is right.
So that's why, that's why I'm like, oh, it wasn't really, like they did democratic things after they got the leaders, but I think the way the leaders were, they should have just voted for the leaders from the first episode.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Well,
Maybe they didn't
really
have the time.
know their people. Yeah, but
and I guess it's more dramatic to like kind of just stick in some randoms and see what happens. And also, I bet you casting probably picked those four for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, as we'll see in this episode, we've been kind of hating on the town council for the last
couple eps.
Yeah, basically the entire run of the show.
Also up top of this episode, I don't know why Jonathan Karsh calls Anjay, but it was really startling.
Yeah, it made me kind of, it was like, am I having a Mandela effect right now? Because I was like, his name is pronounced Anjay, right?
Yeah, and he
throughout the whole show.
And he like severely pronounces like, Anjay, come here and blah. And it was like, why is he doing this? Like, he's known them for like 14 days by now.
And it's just, it's worse on top of an already bad episode for Anjay, because he is just bullied relentlessly.
If you're an Anjay stan, be warned. It's a real toughie.
Poor Anjay.
I felt really sad.
Oh yeah, no, he's a sweet little kid.
But we'll get into it. So we start off with the yellow team doing what they do best, having a slumber party at 1 p.m., not doing shit.
Yeah.
All the girls
gossiping about all the dusts that they saw that day.
All the mean girls are in their sleeping bags, cuddled up, ain't doing shit. Zach over here, again, showing his tenacity, his can-do attitude, is trying to wake them up to make breakfast, and they're just like, nah, we're not making breakfast. It's not even, they don't even say like, oh, it's cold. Like they used to have excuses. Now they're just like, no, I'm not doing it.
They're just mean girls, and it's
I know.
It makes me kind of cringe, and like,
and when they're so mean to Zach, and he's just like, I don't know what I would be. I think I was pretty influenced by Friends as a kid. So I see both sides. I see how like you could be with your friends kind of fucking off and be like, whatever. But then I also like relate hard to Zach. That's like, we came here to do the experiment. So why aren't you guys just like getting up and being pioneers? And it's like,
yeah,
it's just like frustrating. And I'm like, just really mad at him. I'm really mad at the yellow team.
Yeah, we see the two contrasts in the leader styles, because Zach is like making his voice heard, even though he's not the town council leader.
No.
Meanwhile, Anjay is trying to whip up his team.
It's rough over. It's rough over in blue team land. I want to know what happened, because like something switched where Anjay is like number one, America's most wanted, hated boy in the camp. Olivia, who was really showing some snarky-tude last episode when she became a Christian zealot hardcore, is really like scary to Anjay in this episode. In
the last episode she became a religious zealot, and in this one she becomes very like mean girl conservative.
Well,
like proto Tommy Lauren almost. In
the early episode where Greg is swearing a bunch, it was mentioned that Olivia and Mallory are very Christian, but it was never like, it was just like, oh, they're Christian. It wasn't like a defining like characteristic of them. It's like they just so happen to be Christian. And then the religious episode, she got really like, we're gonna fight. And it was like, what? And then in this one, she's just like, she's doing this weird dead eye to Anjay. She's just mocking him. She's basically telling him nobody likes him. It's really hard to watch. It's like makes you, even if Anjay maybe did something shitty, you're still like, this is hard to watch.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a cameraman, I mean, there's two, like, in the previous episodes, you had to stand pat and watch these kids almost get sucked up by a tornado or like run over by a bull, and now you got to sit back and watch like someone just be mean to a nice, sweet little boy. It's ugh.
And I hate to be the person that says it, but somebody has to. Is like, maybe she likes him. Like maybe it's having a cry. Like I know that's like.
I didn't get that vibe.
I know we're not supposed to say that because that's like, no, men shouldn't. Well, I guess that's like the reverse psychology. I don't know. Like, I think sometimes you are a little bit mean when you're a kid to like someone that you maybe actually really like.
Yeah, kids do that all the time.
But also, I don't know if parents just made that up to make you feel better that like someone was being mean to you. And they're like, maybe they just want to fuck you. I don't know. And it's like, no, I think they just.
Yeah. Anjay's watching this back now. He's like 25 and he's like, oh man, she want to fucking lay me down.
But also, just put a pin in this like dynamic because I feel like it feeds into like some feelings I have later on. We'll get there. But now it's time to go to the journal because the journal lets us know what's going on each episode in the very top. So all the council goes to the journal, and it is time for the winds of change in Bonanza City.
Yes. Every 4 years in Bonanza City, they have an election. And this year is a special election, and it takes place after 14 days.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we were kind of getting teased that their positions aren't safe, and like that's just what's going to go down. So the book didn't really say much. It was like, "Yo, we're gonna have an election," and so they go into the cafeteria, and guess what, boomers? It's food fight time.
Yeah,
oh my god,
a classic food fight, as all Americans have been having since George Washington crossed the Delaware.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
it was kind of just like mandatory view. Like old grandparents love seeing kids have a good old fashioned food fight because they remember that one time after it was the canoe trip and they all had the food fight and they all threw the mashed potatoes. So it was, it was very like CBS. It was very elderly.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't expect anything less from.
And this came from an era of time where you like didn't have to consider the feelings of like custodial staff.
Right.
They would just clean it up for you if you guys had a massive food fight.
Also, to be fair,
I guess at your 1950s public school.
Also, the kids at Kid Nation don't have like that much food either, so I'm sure it's like a few dried up potatoes. Like,
yeah,
there's not like a shit ton of.
They're throwing like flour, root beer, and like a couple of hand potatoes.
Okay, but this is where we see some real shit go down. Where one of the blue girls like throws something at Anjay, and then I think Anjay throws an actual cup, and then Olivia's like, Anjay, why did you do that? And he's like, I got thrown on. She's like, but you threw back. And I was like, this logic makes no sense.
Yeah. She's like, oh, real mature.
Real mature. I know. She rolls eyes. Real mature.
Literally everyone is involved in this food fight. So
yeah. I mean, when I saw this, my notes are literally Anjay with like 12 exclamation points. Like I felt so sad for him. And I call hate crime. I'm so sad watching this. Like it felt like there's no way to not have it feel a bit racially charged.
Oh yeah.
Especially after this episode where she was really advocating for the white Christians and Anjay is like the low like Hindu guy and like also people are like, what are you doing, Anjay? He's like, Hinduism. And it was like, oh, okay.
He's the only brown kid there, I believe. I mean, he's one of 2 Asian kids, I think, in the whole the whole 40 kid
and I guess
nation.
we'll kind of come up later because, and mainly during the poster scene with Markel, because watching Anjay get hate crimed, or what felt like hate crime, made me realize like how little screen time the children of color get.
Yes.
In general, like it really clicked this episode, and again, that's probably my white privilege showing that I didn't notice it until this episode, but it was like very clear. I'm like, oh, we really only see Anjay because he's the leader. And right now we're seeing him more than ever because he's getting like bullied. And it's really sad. And then we see some kids of color sometimes, but really when they come on for confessionals, it's very short if they are on.
Yeah, I mean, in my memory of the first time I watched it and the 5 that we've watched now, the only kids of color we see is DK.
DK probably gets the most screen time of them.
And then there's
it's not much.
Then there's the chubby kid who wears like berets.
That's Markel. We get his name. We do get his name for the first time this episode, and it's Markel.
Rules.
And Markel, been waiting for Markel to shine because his outfits are amazing.
He's wearing a leather jacket in Bonanza City.
He's got full wardrobe. Like he brought like plenty of suitcases, plenty of outfit changes. I just like am fascinated with his whole look. He looks great.
Yes.
He almost looks like Alex Bornstein's character in Mrs. Maisel. I got Pablo so good with. I could tell that was going to be a big laugh.
Well, for a second I was like, where are you going with this? I'm like, I know Alex Bornstein plays Asian characters sometimes.
Oh God! Ooh, full circle. So, anyways, I think the bullying felt very racially charged, and then that racially charged bullying made me realize how little screen time people of color get in Kid Nation. So, not too different from the regular nation.
Yeah, not too different from real CBS,
especially at this point in time. Which God, I can't wait to get to the challenge. This episode, actually, I thought, because the religion episode was so good, and this one I was like, okay, the revolution, we're going to have a vote. And then this episode just kept getting better and better and better and better and better.
Yes, lots of, we'll get to it, but lots of George W. Bush mentions.
Yeah, so there's the food fight, and there's like the whole, like, we're changing council things. Sophia has a great adult line about asking them, you know, cue the clip.
How many of you are confident that you'll maintain your positions of authority?
Oh, yeah. So Sophia comes off like she's like a White House correspondent.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
Like, excuse me, Taylor, regarding the tariffs on the canned beans that we have.
What makes you think you're so comfortable? You'll hold your authority. So they have like a little meeting of like, who's going to run? Olivia makes it clear she's running against Anjay, which was like, okay. Zach is like really, he's prepared for the battle of his life. I mean, it should be, here's the theory. The yellow team is basically the electoral college nightmare of like the American voting system, because in theory everyone knows Taylor should not be prez, but logistically there's just more girls and boys and they'll all vote for her is literally how it kind of breaks down.
Yeah, it's much like, you know, the 47% of white women voting for Trump, or 57. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah. So also, I don't know, maybe this is just how the storyline was laid out this day, but it was basically like, oh, we're gonna have an election day, and everyone's like, cool. And everyone's like, okay, cool. It's like now, like we're gonna have like an election basically now.
Yeah, but they don't. Nobody officially announces just yet. But even though no one has it announced yet, Zach is outside with his fellow Jew crew member Eric.
Yeah, who we get his name for the first time. So excited to meet a new member of the Jew crew.
And Zach is practicing his political speech, which it's very Obama-like, even though Obama had only just been. Actually,
I thought it was very Bernie-ish in some ways, just because he had these very good points of like, look, it's not about me. It's about the town, and the town is shit.
Boys and girls of Bonanza City, come to me with a problem, and I will listen to every word you say.
Zach's a good kid. Zach really wants to start making changes and really is enthusiastic, and I think he can be a great leader.
So let's get rid of this dictator. I mean, he like later on calls her a dictator.
Cadence-wise, it was very Obama. He must have had Pete Buttigieg's.
Wow.
And then Eric is just your classic husky Jewish teenager. Oh my God, his voice has just started to change. So it's like, I really think that's pretty good, Zach. Hey, you want to play basketball and listen to Wu-Tang?
Yeah.
That's my impression of a Jewish teenager.
Yeah. So there's like, the green team has like a peaceful moment where they're like, you know what, Laurel's fine. We're not gonna like nominate. It's fine as Laurel. Except Michael does he does say, yo, I would run in any other case, but yeah, you're fine.
But because I would fucking, well, actually, I guess he wouldn't wipe the floor because the other people were like very on board of not having.
Yeah, they like Laurel. I mean, Laurel's fine. I mean, she also has like led them to no wins, so I'm not sure if she's really that great. But I think the green team overall, they weren't winning if she was captain or not. I think they're just
the green team are losers. I'm sorry if your team loses 4 times in a row, is either last place or third place, get a new leader.
What is the name of the football movie where Keanu Reeves is a football man?
The Replacements.
Okay, that's with Gene Hackman. That's what I was. They're bad in that, right?
Yeah, that's based off the true story of the 1987 NFL strike, where the players went on strike and then the owners brought in scab players. So Keanu Reeves and all the people that we're rooting for in that movie are fucking picket line crossing scabs.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to root for them. It's kind of a fucked up movie.
Whoa. So anyways, shit's going down. Olivia is like psychologically torturing Anjay, like walking up behind him being like, I'm gonna win, blah blah blah. Like it's like very, I can't even put into words because it's so creepy, and she's basically like Chucky.
Hi, Anjay.
Oh my god! Please leave me alone right now. I need to think.
Okay. Good luck with that. I'm running against you. Just saying.
Shut up!
Bye.
It's very hard to watch. Oh yeah, Mike. Mike is like, does anyone wanna like he says, I don't even know what he says, but his mouth.
Well, here we'll play the clip.
So I think the person who deserves to be up here is the person who is best at just taking charge and making a decision that's right for the town. So is there anybody who wants to oppose me?
his mouth just like malfunctions while he's trying to say, I don't oppose me.
But thankfully, a hero dressed in cardinal red raises his hand and
then
says,
a hero comes
there
along.
goes my Guylan.
He's
half Deftones, half Sublime.
Guylan fucking steps up to the plate and is like, you know what, Mike? I'm running against your little punk ass.
Guylan's a fucking chiller. I love Guylan.
Yeah.
I'm trying to smoke a blunt with like 10-year-old Guylan.
Guylan also reveals that he's a homeschool kid.
Yes.
In his confessional, which I thought was interesting, not to stereotype of like, oh, homeschool kids, aren't they socially awkward? But Guylan's like very cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he's probably one of the coolest kids. So he's like, yo, I'm running. Also like, fuck dictatorships, basically. Yeah, he's really tight.
Also, Guylan is another one of the rare people of color we do see like focused on the show.
Yes, but this, I think we're going to see a lot more Guylan, obviously, from here on out. Taylor tries to defend her seat, and it's horrible. She's just like, okay, I know I said I'd be good, and I haven't, but I'll try. And I really, really will, and I'm going to try. And it's like, everyone's like, no.
Yeah. Everyone goes up officially in front of the town and is like, they give their stump speech. Olivia's is okay. Anjay's is pretty pathetic. But after Taylor's awful speech, Zach fucking...
Then Zach, that
up.
was just like, I mean, I hate to do too many like current references, but it was just like watching like Bloomberg to like Bert. Like, it was just like, you didn't prepare. And now, like, I've been saying this speech my whole life. Like, I know this like the back of my hand. And Zach really just like, he is a great leader. He would be actually like a good, district manager or like
district manager
or politician or politician, whatever, either one. So that's great. Oh yeah, and then Olivia's speech was boring. It didn't really move the needle at all.
No.
I don't even remember if Anjay gave a speech. I think he was in shock by this whole like ordeal.
Yeah, he just like was in the corner shaking. That was his speech.
It was sad. Yeah, and then now it's gonna be. Oh, actually, before they go into that, Mike, after the whole speech thing, Mike and Guylan are like sitting outside of like the shack, and they're having like the most chill argument. It's like so like kind of like Goodfellas, where they're just sitting there, just being like,
I understand that you want to be a leader, but in my eyes, you always seem to follow so easily.
Well, I don't like following people, but I like helping people. I'm not a very frail, easily damaged person.
Well, you can't be. Or else you can't run, because you can't be easily damaged if you're a council member.
I'm not.
if you can't handle it, like, don't run. It's like, I can handle it. Can you handle it? I can. And they're just giving each other like the most chill argument. I was like loving it. It was very adult and very like, I'm not afraid of you. I was like, I'm not afraid of you either. It's like, well, we'll see it in the election, baby. Oh, and it's a good election. And it's pretty much showdown time. But before showdown time, we get this random moment that would never mean anything until later.
This would usually be like an end of credits thing.
They're like doing like another weird adult view of like them doing cocaine gummers. But I guess it's like powder to brush their teeth. And they're brushing their teeth with powder in their fingers.
Is it powder or do they actually have toothpaste? Because we'll find out in a second they don't have toothbrushes. But was it just toothpaste that they put on their fingers? Because I've done that before when you forget your toothbrush.
I'm sure it's like some ye old powder that's like cleans your asshole and your teeth. It's probably like Dr. Bronner's or something.
Yeah,
like
Dr. Karcher's.
It's probably like a catch-all cleaning. So I was like, that's weird. Why are they doing this? But now it's time for the showdown. Wow.
Yes, this is one of the wildest showdowns in a TV show that has insane showdowns every single week. So this one is political themed, as you would expect.
Yes, because obviously we're in the midst of election season in Bonanza.
Yeah, this was right during the height of Kerry versus Bush.
Yeah.
Or slightly before. Anyways, so this week on the showdown, the kids are brought out to the field where there are 300 American flag inspired piñatas. They're not American flags because you're not going to be destroying the American flag on CBS.
I mean, they're basically American flags, though. It's like the American flag, but like out of order.
Yeah, they're kind of like your classic piñata, where it kind of is like a ball with like
it's like a star. It's like a starburst kind of looking thing, but also the metaphors, the imagery of out in this desert near the Mexico border, busting up American piñatas with inside is a baseball card of each president.
Yeah.
And you have to go bust down 300 piñatas. Oh, and some of them are empty, like to make the challenge even harder.
Yes, there are 300 piñatas and only 40 cards, and one kid from each team has to go at a time to crash to smack the shit out of a piñata, and that takes a. I mean, they must have edited this down from like 2 hours.
Why 300?
Yeah.
That's so many.
I mean, even like 200 would have been excessive.
Even 50 would have been a shit ton. Like,
well, I mean, that's a little too easy.
Or 100. I mean, it's a lot. When you see it, you're like, Jesus. And it's also like a windstorm. So like trying to hit a piñata in the wind.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Pretty
it's
usual.
just super.
There's a cyclone.
So they're all filled with president cards, which is hilarious. And then once they bust the cards, they have to put them in political or in, chronological order of when the person was president.
Yeah.
So it's not only a physical challenge, but you got to have some brains too.
It's a mental challenge. And there's some kids who are like, "Oh, I know how to do this. I know all the presidents."
Yeah, Mike is like, "Oh, I know the presidents in your order," and it's like, okay, sure.
But I mean, I don't remember. So I don't know about you, but like all of not my birthday parties, because as you know, I haven't had a birthday party since I was 7.
I know.
But every birthday party I've ever gone to as a child had piñatas. And when you're a little kid, busting a piñata is pretty hard.
Yeah, no, it's always like you eventually take the blindfold off, and I guess they're not blindfolded in this either.
No, but I mean, your dad will eventually just do it, or like a big kid. And it's like when you're an 8-year-old kid, sometimes you don't physically have the strength to break a piñata, and guess how many kids on this show are 8 years old?
Yeah, a lot of
decent
them.
amount.
We do see Mallory and Alex struggle, and damn, it was cute. They couldn't even like reach the piñatas. I really liked it. But before,
it's like they were holding dandelions and like trying to knock down a brick house or something. It was so cute.
They loved it so hard the head popped. When I think of dandelions, I think of mice and men, and I just think of Lenny. But before that, this was like a huge, if you haven't been drinking when you hear George W. Bush, then bust out the tequila, honey, because we're about to drink till the cows come home. Because Jonathan Karsh, before we even start the challenge, he's like, so put them in order. For example, Taylor, who's president now? She's like, George W. Bush.
Taylor, who's president right now?
George Bush.
Who was president before George Bush?
I have no clue.
I mean, to be fair, she was born in like 1999.
She's only been alive during basically the Bush administration.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are doing that. There's so much George. I mean, every time they crack open a piñata and George H.W. Bush, I'm pretty sure Karsh each time is like, George W. Bush.
It's George W. Bush and the second Bush. George Bush for green. And the second George Bush. George W. Bush. And the second Bush.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of the showdown, they have mentioned George W. Bush 5 times and one mention of Pappy, George H.W. Bush as well.
that was a shock. I couldn't believe we got an H.W. in the midst. Like these kids don't even probably know. So they're knocking him down. They're talking about orders. There's a great interstitial moment of one of the yellow team girls talking about George W. Bush and about like not being smart. I couldn't believe. I still can't tell if this scene was Frankenbited, and if you don't know, in reality terms, Frankenbite is just where they'll pull, like, literally they can edit you to make you sound like you've said anything. Like if you just say anything out of order and they show it with like a picture or something else happening that you don't see your face, it could be a Frankenbite. But I really hope it wasn't, because she was like,
We won with the help of Zach, but just because he knows he's president doesn't mean he's the best leader. I mean, look at George W. Bush. He's not smart at all, but he won the U.S. president 2 times in a row.
This girl is just going off. The yellow team is full of weird chicks, which I appreciate. So they're just like knocking cards. It's getting heated. I mean, honestly, this is a very, very close race.
Well, two of the teams, the yellows and the green, finish at the same time.
Yes,
and then they do the requisite fucking running to do a thing and then running back.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out that green got their fucking presidents wrong
in the wrong order.
Fucking idiots.
Also, I'm pretty sure that was Sophia's fault, because I heard her say switch Roosevelt and Taft before they like.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. But she's done a lot for the team.
Hey, it's not Sophia. You didn't know that Taft was President Roosevelt's political protege? Really?
Okay.
Really?
Okay, calm down. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to fully blame her, but also they should be fact-checking. The whole team should be helping out. And then Eric chimed in like, no, it is switched. Eric, that would have helped about fucking 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference between the upper class and being a merchant class.
Yeah.
It's really a metaphor for America. You have to know your presidents.
So the green could have been first. Like, they were so close to being first place. It was like such a mad dash, just won by the hair, but then they got the order of the presidents wrong. So yellow is the first place team. They are now the royals of the land.
They now have an excuse again to not do anything.
Yeah, and then green is second, which is like the first time they're not like the peasants of the land. Then we have red and then blue. So it's a pretty, I mean, I was wowed by this political piñata party.
That was definitely one of my
But
favorites.
then it gets even fucking more mental because now it's prize time. And as you know, we see both prizes. And prize one, prize one is just like a shit ton of grills. Not like rob the liquor store and tell them make me a grill, but like actual barbecue grills with a bunch of hot dogs and hamburgers already on them cooked. And they were just like, we're going to have one of your prizes of political barbecue bash.
No, he kept saying, we're going to have a political party.
Oh, political party.
Full of meats.
Ribs, chicken, hamburgers, hot dogs. It's a political party, Bonanza City style.
Franks, beef, hamburgers, pork chops, lamb chops, quail, foie gras.
Oh my God.
It's like every meat that exists.
Beyond Meat. Impossible Burger. No. So I was like, because that prize was so good. I was thinking, what could the other, I couldn't remember. I was like, what could the other prize possibly be where they don't pick this meat fest?
Wait, when I saw that the prize was that good, I was like, oh man, the next prize is going to be really shitty.
Yeah. And then the next prize was toothpaste and toothbrushes and floss. Because they were not given any of that.
Yeah, this is day 14, and these kids have not brushed their teeth once, which is pretty wild when you think about it.
When we were watching this, it took I was slowly snapping together. I was like, wait, do these kids get to shower? Which I also realized is probably a no. Because we don't see showers. We don't hear about bath time. We don't hear any of that stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of these kids are like, I mean, I don't think I started showering until I was probably 10 or 11, you know?
Right.
A lot of these kids are still being bathed by their parents, basically.
Oh, God.
Seriously, Alex is not drawing himself a bath. Or maybe
actually,
he is.
Actually, he is.
He has a little robe, a Yoda-sized robe.
Oh, he's reading the encyclopedia in the bathtub. I mean, Mallory's still washed in the sink for sure. She's real tiny. So that's why when they showed that little interstitial moment of them putting gummy toothpaste on their teeth earlier, I was like, this is a weird, fun moment to show, but whatever. They're showing a gag. And I was like, oh, they haven't brushed their teeth. They have just had fucking their own carnage chicken strings in their teeth and potatoes and and all their hot cocoa. I just can't believe, I don't understand why that was not part of them being there, is having toothbrushes. They have clothes.
It's wild.
They have a roof. They have shoes. What do they? I don't understand how pioneers they're supposed to be.
I mean, they
have a microwave. Now they have a microwave for the fucking cocoa. I don't know. I'm just I got mad. I was like, I can't believe if I was a parent and I found out my kid hadn't brushed their teeth for 2 weeks as part of the show, I'd be like, you guys did not tell me that was going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they did. I don't have a feeling they did.
It was probably on page 72 of the contract.
I bet you they got out there, and after a week, one of the kids probably came up to a producer and was like, excuse me, could I get a toothbrush? And they were like, fuck, we didn't even think about getting these kids toothbrushes. I bet you none of them packed it, and they just had no toothbrushes. So once it's time for the council meeting, they're like, we're going to go with the dental health, is literally what they said.
The city council, the town council, which is in a very precarious position because they're about to get voted out of office.
Right.
They all decide to skip a party for toothbrushes because kids love brushing teeth.
I mean, they haven't brushed their teeth for this long now. Who cares? Just write it out. And you obviously have this powder that seems to be working. I mean, also it's very, in Kid Nation, and again, in regular nation, no one has dental health care. So this is just the life we all are used to living. So they went with the dental health. Jared, we get one little Jared quote from the episode where he's like,
I
still want that barbecue.
I still want the barbecue.
I missed Jared. Jared has not been in many of the last few episodes.
No, yeah, I think he'll be back. But then Guylan, we have a nice moment where Guylan's like, if I was on the council, I would have secured the meat.
Secure the bag.
Secure the bag and secure the meat. So now we're back into campaigning because the official election is coming up super soon. And I love this moment because Zach is out here knocking on doors, grassroots movement, canvassing, power of the people because the power of the people don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to flip one girl to win yellows.
Yes, because there's, I believe, 9 people on yellow because someone left. So he's got 4 on him and the 3 other boys, but Taylor's got the lock on the women vote.
Yeah, so he's like, I just need one. So he does talk to this one girl who we've never met, and he was like, hey, before you go in here, like, just so you know, like, the town sucks. Taylor's a horrible leader, and it's not about me. It's just about really being a better team, and I just hope you vote for me. And she's like, okay, I hear you. But, like, you know, didn't confirm nor deny, but I was like, all right, if it's going to be anybody, it seems like it's going to be this. He probably knew who's a little bit outside her circle, because, you know, those 2 little rugrats have been snuggling up to Taylor every 1 p.m. sleepover. And then Mike is just slamming root beers, whining to the green team about the red team, and he's just like can't deal with society right now.
Yeah, he's like, I can't even talk to my red team because they'll yell at me. And it's like, dude, that might be a sign that you're gonna fucking get your ass whooped in the election.
Yeah, and then the yellow team, these mean girls are doing what mean girls do, making up slogans and making posters, because that's what we do, honey. We're like, vote for Taylor because she's the traitor of all the Taylors and all the Kid Nation. Like, they were just like doing like these sing-song, basically rap battles, making up things. And then they're hanging up all the posters, and Markel, Mr. Fashion, comes in with his pogo stick and is just ripping down every poster. He's pogo sticking on the posters, which is a really cool visual.
So disrespectful.
I'm fine.
No, I'm saying that's cool. It's so disrespectful.
Yeah, he's like, I don't give a shit. And then the really super blonde, like blonde faithful Taylor person, and she's going nuts, right? She's freaking the fuck out.
You know, I'm 30 now. I completely forgot what it's like to be like a 9-year-old in a 9-year-old argument.
Right.
And have like a 9-year-old girl like yell at you like, what the fuck?
Yeah, she's like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? And he's like, because Taylor's got to go. Taylor's got to go. And I'm like,
that.
I know. He's like, kept saying Taylor's going. I'm like, Taylor's like literally not really going anywhere, but I guess he means of office. And he's not even on the yellow team. He's on the red team.
True. He needs to stay out of it. It's like
I don't think he needs to stay out of it because the council affects the vibe of everybody.
True. It's kind of like when you hear about when a state has like an open primary and you can vote in a primary election no matter what party you are.
Yeah.
So sometimes people of the other party will be like, well, I'm going to go and vote for this idiot.
Right.
I'm a Democrat and I'm going to vote for Donald Trump in the primary because we have the best chance if he goes up against Hillary. It's kind of like that line of thinking.
Yeah. So they're like fucking dueling. Markel is just going off with his pogo stick. And honestly, I'm fine with Markel doing it. Like, the yellow girls are really being annoying. And maybe it's not the kindest thing to do in the world, but hey, politics aren't kind either. You're allowed, again, not to be too topical. I love all of Bloomberg's postings of like, people are spraying painting oligarch on my building. And it's like, so, like, all right, like, politics aren't supposed to be, I mean, they should be all fair and,
as the great Democratic political operative James Carville once said, hey, you see, honey, politics is a contact sport, okay?
You know what? Just thinking of this political episode, I bet you like $1 billion they ask these kids in their interviews, like, what political party you are. Like, are you Democrat? Are you Republican? What are your parents? Like, they talked about it, but I bet for some reason CBS is like, let's not let's not full blown politically associate these kids.
On the Kid Nation website that we found on the Internet Archive, they basically answer that question. They're like, who's your personal hero? George W. Bush.
Oh my, I know they do. So anyways, Greg also comes in and helps calm down the girl.
Yeah.
Who's been crying. She's not been feeling great. So like all of them are like, Greg's been like a big brother. He's been really stepping up. And honestly, Greg's been pretty chill the last few episodes. And he's just kind of been keeping his head down, doing the work, and just showing up and doing all the tasks. So that was great. And now we get to the town hall meeting and we go kind of straight into
the Gold Star?
the gold star. And Greg gets it. No spoiler alert.
Yeah.
He goes straight into it. It's well deserved.
And Greg gives this amazing speech where he's like, I just want you to know, because of this gold star, I'm going to college. All right? I wasn't going to college until I got this $20,000.
And all the kids are like, we don't know what this means, but whatever. Good for you. Because I don't think these kids ever thought about, I mean, I bet a lot of them are doing fine. I know they talk about everyone's from all walks of life, from poor to this, but Greg's like, you guys, seriously, like I would have been fucked without this.
He's the only one who's like a freshman in high school, so he has college somewhat on his mind. Although, like, I think Greg probably like used that money to go to like HVAC repairman school.
Yeah, I mean that's a HVAC. You make a lot of money in HVAC. Just a heads up if anyone's feeling.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that as to say that he's smart, because when he graduated, it was probably in the height of the recession. So hopefully he did graduate from HVAC school and not with a liberal arts degree like we did.
Yay. Or he could become a podcaster. Maybe he is. I don't know. He probably is somewhere.
Did he change his name to Joe Rogan?
Greg Rogan. He kind of could be a Rogan.
Maybe he's Greg Rogan. Oh, shit. Joe Rogan.
Greg Rogan, Joe Rogan. Anywho, now it's time to vote. We get into the voting, and green is staying because Laurel's safe. And then we get the blue team, and
the upset of the night.
The blue team?
Yes.
Do you think it was an upset?
Anjay defeated Olivia.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, no, it's good, but it was an upset because all the episode we're led to believe that everyone hates Anjay and that he's going to be wiped out.
Oh, I was rooting for him. I'm like, I just feel for him, and I don't think Olivia's like, he's like a follower. I'd be a great leader. I'm like, I don't really believe you're just a bully. So I don't think you're a great leader. You're just louder than him. And like, I was happy that Anjay kept his seat.
Yeah, no, I was happy too. But Anjay gives a very nice speech to Olivia and is like, I will do better to listen to you guys. And she's like, I don't believe you.
And then next up is the red vote. And this vote is definitely this is the saddest vote.
To me, it was the happiest vote.
I thought it's a touch sad because so red team's up. And this is how it goes. We get 1 vote for Guylan, 1 vote for Mike, and then 7 more votes for Guylan, meaning Mike voted for himself and there was only 1 vote for Mike.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
It was sad. And Mike and his like, he goes, like, he gets voted out and he's just like, he's kind of crying. He goes, that sucks. That sucked.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, you get it. You're E.G. Daily. You're the voice of Tommy Pickles. You're a female voiceover artist.
He has 90s kid movie like brother energy.
I know. Casting probably loved him. They were probably like, oh, look at his cute little voice.
That freaking sucked. It sucked, man. That sucked.
So anywho, now it's time for the yellow team, which I think is just the most talked about election that we're gonna have. And this is basically the vote goes Taylor, Zach, Taylor, Zach, Taylor, Zach. All right, here's the tiebreaker. 1 more vote to go. Who will it be? Zach is your new king. Bow down before him.
Yeah, Zach wins.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Reign of terror well, Taylor is over.
The reign of Taylor is over. And then we do get the little confessional interview from the girl he talked to, Randy, who was like, yeah, I just think it was time for a change. And I was like, get it, girl. Like, because also, like, no one will ever really know who voted for him. Like,
no.
I mean, maybe the girls will talk about it after. But also, honestly, Taylor's just going to now have more time to hang out with her girlfriends. I don't think she really cares.
Yeah, Taylor doesn't give a shit. And am I remembering this correctly? Does she kind of, like, fall off as a character now that she's not?
She might a little bit, but I guess, I mean, we'll see. So the reign of Taylor is over. Zach goes up to the front of the room and pumps his fist to the air and yells, Viva La Revolucion!
Yeah, he announces that we're going to guillotine Taylor.
Yeah.
We're going to execute Karsh as well.
Oh my God, as proxy, because he's watched everything.
We're going to exile Mike to the porta potties.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we just witnessed a peaceful transfer of power in Bonanza City.
Yeah, it was cool. So we have 2 incumbents. Laurel's put Anjay, and now new leaders, Guylan and Zach.
Yeah, and-
so not a bad crew.
No, I mean it's much more interesting than the last crew. I mean, Taylor is kind of getting on my nerves. She's kind of the classic
I mean, I still don't think
reality villain.
I still don't think Zach's gonna get Yellow to do anything though.
You think?
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe they'll be.
Zach? I would follow Zach into battle.
I know. Maybe he'll rally the troops and get them stoked. But also we get to see Greg's phone call to home over like the credits, and the Gold Star Greg moment was really like washed aside in this episode. Like I know he does the college announcement, but other than that, it's kind of like, okay, you got to college. That's it.
Yeah. Also, the mom didn't mention college at all. So.
Yeah, and they're like, oh baby, oh yeah. It was like a very quick credit roll, but that was it. Viva La Revolucion, episode 5. I mean, it's getting better and better. I'm so excited because the next episode is called Bonanza's Disgusting, which I just can't.
Yeah, because every episode so far, Bonanza City has shown how disgusting this town is. So for a whole episode to be devoted
disgusting,
to the filth,
yeah,
running throughout Bonanza's dusty streets.
I love. Okay, who are you giving the gold star to in this ep?
Oh, who am I giving well, I gotta give it to my boy Guylan. I mean, an electoral destruction.
Yeah.
Of Mike.
Yeah, that's fair. Guylan's a real showstopper for me. I think I'm gonna gold star Markel.
Yeah, Markel.
I mean, leather jacket, dust storm.
Markel's an anarchist.
Newsboy hat, pogo stick, and I just like that he's like, fuck Taylor. Like, no one said it, and I'm here to say it. And also, again, I'm saying, like, truly, Kid Nation is whitewashed in many ways, and Anjay being a villain in this episode felt very weird.
Also, Karsh, his name is fucking Anjay, all right?
I know. They are, like, mispronouncing his... There's just, like, a lot of, like, not even... There's undertones of racism and then just overtones of racism in this episode. And, even just like watching like the little blonde girl scream at Markel for ripping down a poster, there was a lot of like tension and like, I don't know, there's like a lot of dynamics there that I think are loaded, obviously. So I really want to give up for Markel. I think he's really cool, and I hope he gets more screen time because I feel like they always show Markel, like whenever they're like all talking in a council meeting, they'll always show Markel, like it'll always be like a quick establishing shot of Markel like listening in his cute hat, and I'm always like, give this man the floor. He's really turning out looks every day, and he does not need to. Mm-hmm. These kids aren't even brushing their fucking teeth.
Oh, well, now they are.
Well, now they are. I mean, now they're, yeah. I mean, they could have brushed it with the meat.
They're going to fucking town. They should use those toothbrushes to clean those dishes.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what Yellow does with it on the next Kid Nation. Bye.
Bye.